This is Q13 News at 10.
Tonight, Washington is under a public health emergency. Thanks for joining us. I'm LaMonica Peters. Governor Jay Inslee making that declaration today after a state measles outbreak reaches 30 cases. One case is in King County. The rest are in Clark County near the Oregon border. Public health officials say the best protection against the measles is to get the vaccine because this disease is highly contagious and can be deadly.
And a reminder of how infectious this is. If you have 10 people in this room that were exposed to measles that were susceptible, 9 of those 10 are going to get measles.
This is what the measles looks like. The governor's state of emergency declaration allows state agencies to focus their resources on helping infected communities. The infected man in King County is in his 50s. He traveled to Clark County and came back sick. Before he was diagnosed, he went to several public places and might have infected others. The first one is the Boeing construction site on Perimeter Road in Auburn. He was there on January 9th, 10th, and 11th. Then he went to Kent Lake High School for basketball games on January 10th and 12th from 6:30 to 10:30. The morning of January 14th, he went to Valley Medical Center Urgent Care in Covington. And then on the 16th, he went to the Multi-Care Covington Medical Center Emergency Department from 10 until noon. Tonight, the Bellevue School District sent home a letter to parents as a precaution saying if you believe your child may have measles, please call their health care provider. Do not go in. If you must take your child to the emergency room, please call ahead to let them know you are coming and that you suspect measles. The letter also recommends you talk to your health care provider about getting the MMR vaccine for children who may not have had it. Measles symptoms can show up 1 to 3 weeks after exposure. Marnie Hughes shows us what to look out for as potential symptoms.
The symptoms include a fever, coughing, runny nose, and red, watery eyes. After 2 to 3 days, small white spots may show up inside the patient's mouth. These are called Koplik spots. Within 3 to 5 days, a rash can break out.
The measles virus can still infect people up to 2 hours after the infected person has left the room. King County's health department is urging anyone with symptoms to immediately call your health care provider. A bus with members of the Stanford University track and field team on board erupted in flames on I-5, sending traffic to a standstill during the busy afternoon rush today. It happened on northbound I-5 at the West Seattle Bridge at about 2 o'clock. Everyone made it off okay, but the team had to wait about 2 hours for another bus to take them to UW. WashDOT says with the viaduct closure, a number of agencies had already been preparing for the event of an emergency.
We prepare for these types of things. We're ready for these types of things. And fortunately, nobody was hurt. The structure was not significantly damaged. Certainly somebody had a bad day driving a bus, but overall, it was well handled.
Investigators are still looking into what caused this fire. Stanford issued a statement saying, in part, all members of the travel party, which included head coach and approximately 30 student athletes, evacuated the bus safely. Most personal belongings and equipment were recovered, but the condition of those items was not immediately known. The team will continue to compete as scheduled. Today, President Trump signed a funding bill to end the government shutdown temporarily until February 15th. In the Rose Garden, the president announced the deal reached with Democrats. Later, the House and the Senate both passed that deal to end the shutdown. President Trump agreed to sign it without money for a border wall, but he says he's not backing off on the idea.
We really have no choice but to build a powerful wall or steel barrier. If we don't get a fair deal from Congress, the government will either shut down on February 5th.
Today marked the 35th day of the shutdown and the second paycheck missed by furloughed federal workers. More than 2,000 flights were delayed today because federal aviation employees called out sick. Those workers weren't being paid during the shutdown. At New York's LaGuardia Airport, flights were grounded because they didn't have enough air traffic controllers. Other airports around the country experienced similar situations, forcing travelers to spend more time getting through the airport.
They told me that due to the government shutdown to get here about 3 hours prior to my flight.
At the FFA Center in Leesburg, Virginia, 6 of the 13 air traffic controllers scheduled to work today called out. Similar issues took place in Florida and Atlanta, with some flights being rerouted to help accommodate for the lack of personnel. No delays at SeaTac Airport because of air traffic controllers calling in sick, but the stress has been high. Today, Hannah Kim was with one of those workers in Bonnie Lake as the news broke. The shutdown was over, at least for now.
Right up here at the top, sorry, it's
a paycheck in the pennies.
We're not even sure what the 85 cents was for. It was just maybe a shortage from a paycheck before.
Air traffic controller Sherry O'Neill is now missing 2 paychecks, a month's worth of work.
Sherry says it's unclear when they will receive all that back pay, and she hopes to learn more on Monday. While furloughed government workers struggle to make ends meet, communities across the Puget Sound have rallied to give them a helping hand, and that includes the Washington State Sikh community. The Auburn Sikh Temple is offering free dinners to federal employees affected by the shutdown and their families.
We know that there's been a lot of pain when it comes to making your bills. When you're not getting paid, food is hard. You miss meals. I know there's kids that have probably been hurt, and the whole Sikh community from Washington State want to get together and make sure that our neighbors know we are here to support them.
Anyone in need can visit the temple from 5 to 7:30 daily and get a free hot meal. Visitors are also invited to take some non-perishable food from the temple's pantry stores. An estimated 13,000 Washingtonians lost their pay during the shutdown. To learn more about today's deal to temporarily reopen the government, just head to our website at Q13Fox.com and search government. The civil trial over the deadly Ride the Ducks crash is now in the hands of a jury. Closing arguments just wrapped up in the King County Court. Plaintiffs claim Ride the Ducks neglected to maintain its boat properly before it lost control and crashed into a charter bus on the Aurora Bridge in Seattle in 2015. Attorneys say Ride the Ducks ignored a critical warning that axles on the duck boats may have needed some repair. Ride the Ducks says it did everything in its power to keep their boats well maintained.
Ride the Ducks International is the only party who did anything to prevent this accident, and there's uncontroverted evidence from experts in this case, 2 of whom are from the plaintiff, that had this collar been implemented, this accident never would have happened.
The crash killed 5 people and injured dozens more. A day after deputies in Clallam County arrested a man in connection with a triple homicide that rocked the Port Angeles community, the sheriff's office is now searching for a second suspect wanted for murder. 34-year-old Callie Wade, who's also known by several other names, faces a murder charge for her suspected role in the killings. She's a convicted felon. She's 5'2", weighs 130 pounds, has a star tattoo behind her ear. Court documents say she and a 50-year-old man arrested yesterday on 3 counts of murder are suspected of fatally shooting 3 people late last month at a Port Angeles compound. Fiat Chrysler is recalling 180,000 new pickup trucks. The automaker wants to fix a problem that could cause their power steering to fail. The recall involves 2019 Ram 1500 pickups. Company officials say a loose electrical connection could suddenly make the trucks hard to steer. No one has crashed or been hurt because of the problem, but dealers say they'll make the fix at no cost to owners. Breaking tonight, troopers are on the scene of a shooting in Skyway. Thankfully, no injuries, according to WSP, but 2 lanes are closed on westbound State Route 900 and South 129th Street for the investigation. Still ahead, Washington's Attorney General sues LuLaRoe, claiming a pyramid scheme. We'll explain the lawsuit and talk to a woman who once sold for the company. Plus, the events happening inside the new State Route Tunnel and the old viaduct before it's torn down. And get this, you're invited.